Alright guys, over the last months of this summer, we have been seeing so many game announcements from different developers, and almost all of them have been from a certain awaited event. For example, the PS5 State of Play or the Xbox Series X event. We can say most of the people know about the big AAA blockbusters coming up with Spider-Man PS5, Halo Infinite, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and so on. But do you know about Black Myth Wukong? If you've been following the gaming news very closely, then yes, you might have heard of it, but if not, then man, you're in for a good time. This is the game that slipped under absolutely everyone's radar due to not being part of any of these big presentations, with its little gameplay reveal video simply being released into the wild and into the middle of the night and left there for people to discover it themselves. Black Myth in total, with all the gameplay video released by the different channels, is standing at more than 5 million views in only 4 days. For a project that was revealed out of nowhere, all of this traffic is massive. Black Myth is a PS5, Xbox Series X and PC game that is one of the biggest surprises of the year, and in today's video we have some new pretty interesting details to talk about from it. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, first of all, if you didn't know, this game is a new Dark Souls / Sekiro style action RPG that draws inspiration from the classic epic Chinese novel Journey to the West. Black Myth Wukong is the work of a relatively small indie team called Game Science Studio. The team working on this are around 30 people at the moment, and all in China. One of the unique elements shown in the gameplay footage is the Monkey King's ability to transform into various other creatures at his will. The video shows various instances, such as changing into a flying insect to scour the environment more effectively, or becoming a Hulk-like monster to combat an onslaught of enemies. The gameplay closes with a short little overview of the game, with the Monkey King tackling an assortment of beasts, demonstrating some impressive visuals the game is utilizing with Unreal Engine 4. The game will come with 72 special abilities to utilize and are used to combat the game's many foes, several of which are shown during the gameplay demo. Alright, so now that you know pretty much the game's description, let's get into the new details that have just been revealed. The 13-minute gameplay trailer for Black Myth got tons of people excited all over the internet, but a lot of these people felt the gameplay looked too good to be true and speculated it wasn't actually gameplay, and most, if not all, fake. This is easy to assume, since you'd think a small indie team wouldn't be able to create something so ambitious and beautiful like this. It was so impressive that many people thought the trailer was simply too good to be true, and that the gameplay demo had to be falsely promoted in some way or another. Now, it seems like that is completely not the case, thanks to a new trailer video showing the studio CEO, Fang Ji, playing a build of the game live. The part of the game the developer is playing is the same part that kicks off the gameplay in the recent trailer. Thanks to Daniel Amann on Twitter, we now know that Black Myth Wukong is a game that has been thought of and in development for a few years now, and the project was known internally as Project S. If you saw any of the developers on ArtStation or other sites, you could see they had been posting artworks here and there and other teasers from the game for months. But right now is when they have finally been able to show off the game in full to the world. The team has completed a lot of the main parts of the game, but there is still work to be done, such as the full game script and more varied combat elements. There were 13 people working on the game in year 1, and now there is 30. Hence why they are hiring more to complete the project in a timely manner. It is said these developers are taking inspiration from one of their past games called Asura, and aiming to be a lot more ambitious, with a way better and longer story, more authentic on the mythological world, and more emphasis on the famous Journey to the West story. The game design is based around this original mythology, with many aspects recreated. They also noted that throughout the gameplay reveal, they still needed to work out how to do more precise facial animations and emotions, because that was something that, if you look very closely, could be seen to be kind of incomplete in some places. Also, some of the interaction between characters and environments throughout the reveal is still quite rough and being developed more right now. They have also said they have had a huge difficulty with the Cloud/Evan gameplay part at the end of the trailer, where he's fighting thousands of soldiers. The frame rate was all over the place, and it was something that has given them much trouble. God of War is said to be a game that heavily inspired them throughout the process of Black Myth, with for example the giant monster shown, the executions, and so on. The team also plans to have multiple games in the series, and they want to add a difficulty setting where it is much harder. Right now, since the game has gained a massive community behind it, they plan to go back to working on the game and likely won't show anything again until they have something more significant to show. They also don't want to get any funding from companies that will make them change their vision for this game. Things like this happen a lot when you sign a contract with a publishing company. They want you to go this way with the project and you're stuck doing it. As the CEO of the games company said, the original intent of the footage was actually less about trying to impress people with the game and more about attracting potential employees to work at the studio, as well as provide an honest look at the title. Though the resulting popularity spike and press has made the team really happy, but the developers goes on to say that the team won't let it go to their heads. In fact, they go on to say that fans should try and forget about the trailer as it doesn't represent the team's best work. Most of the posts from the developers is then used to highlight things that are wrong in the gameplay footage, including a moment where the frame rate drops in the fight between the main character Wukong and the fight in heaven. Not stopping there, they also mentioned that the water in the footage also has no physical properties, and the soundtrack doesn't quite sync up with the action on screen. If all they're saying is indeed true and the game will be even better, then I cannot wait to see more, and you can expect me to talk about it on the channel. Alright guys, for more videos like these, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to stay tuned. Thanks to Themistocles, Pedro Oliveira, and Jigglyboy for being a master member on the channel. You can become a survivor member for 99 cents only. It'll support me and the channel as a whole. Thanks for watching.